Black Arrows Club presents The Monster Within. It was a Monday. I remember because the announcement would come a week later on a Tuesday. I remember my father drove me to my doom. The whole ride was quiet except for one sentence he kept repeating like a prayer he needed both of us to believe. Son, as long as you tell the truth, you'll be fine. And I believed him. It was only like a 20-minute drive, but to a frightened child, it felt like eternity. I remember the meeting room, once a place filled with joy and hope, now transformed into a courtroom of despair and shame. Three judges sat before me. They prayed first, and I remember thinking that made them safe. Good men, holy men. I told my story, answered every question, then sat in silence and waited for mercy to arrive. I remember hoping. One of them finally looked at me and said, "It's not you we don't trust. It's the devil." And somehow that little lamb understood, because fear can make good people pull triggers they swear were righteous. They believed they had to sacrifice something to save the flock. But the cruel part was, they didn't kill the lamb. Instead, he bled out slowly. And for 90 days, I watched that little lamb stand alone against a wall, while his entire world crumbled around him. Silence became his prison. Shame became his shadow. Loneliness became his closest companion. And that was me, the monster. That wasn't the day I was born, not officially at least. But it was the day we met. I wanted to give up, end it all, disappear quietly so nobody would have to carry the weight of me anymore. But he refused to let me die. The crazy part about it all is that broken little kid became my hero. Because instead of collapsing beneath the pain, he rose to the challenge and handed me the reins with a trembling hand. And I had no idea what to do with them. All I knew was rage. I wanted revenge. I wanted to rip them apart until they finally understood what they had done to us. But he would whisper, "No, I want to quit." He'd answer, "Then how do we eat?" "I want to burn everything down." But he looked at me, wounded and exhausted, still bleeding from wounds no one else could see, and he would say, "It is better to rebuild than destroy." And somehow that saved us. So I carried us forward, not because I was fearless, not because I was holy, not because I had all the answers, but because somewhere deep inside me, a little lamb taught a wolf how to forgive without forgetting. I never met him until the day I needed him, and that day he refused to let me die.